Okay, here is another overview of game design data plugin, and in this video I will show the feature reference example included with plugin. It's not a game, but more like a test environment that showcases the possible alternatives to edit time data reading, and also all kinds of objects it can read to. So in particular, it has the capability of reading into mono behavior, including one in a scene and another in a prefab, and also to the object that is neither mono behavior nor a scriptable object, just a system object that can be also read from the spreadsheet. And let's start with taking a look at the scene. So this features the controller script that initializes the spreadsheet reader and also then reads into two target objects. One of them is mono behavior and one is just plain object that you can find here. And this one in particular has properties, not fields. And by default, you won't see it in inspector, but can be seen with debug view of the inspector, which will trigger in a second. Also, credential is specified right here in inspector. Together with spreadsheet ID, it means that we don't need to have spreadsheet ID inside of the object that is being read. That's another option that you can use. And also it doesn't need edit time credential specified here because it will be taken from the explicit reference. So we don't need to do anything here if we are not planning to use edit time functionality. However, when I play it and try to actually get it to read something, I will get the warning that the runtime version of spreadsheet reader is not available. That's happening because by default it's not included in builds. Do not get dependencies and those related DLLs into the project build. So if you want to enable runtime capabilities, you will need to go to player settings and add this definition symbol here. So that will take some time to apply. And once it is done, it will be possible to actually run it and see how it reads into those objects. Let's wait while it works, and in the meantime we'll show the data that it will parse. So this one is also more complex to highlight some features it supports. So you can have some frozen rows and columns, and they will be respected. So if I read all values from the name column, it will start reading from the first non-frozen row. The same with rows, and then it has the example of specifying colors, enumerations, including the ones that are flags. And let's see if we can actually already try running it again. So this will be read into all of these fields. Some of them are specifically created as arrays, some as lists, because this example is also used as a test to all features to be sure that all the use cases are working properly. And let's wait for it to finish compiling, and we'll be able to start. So it's almost done. Let's see. Hit and play, and we'll then switch the inspector to debug mode to see the hidden object that is composed of properties. They are still visible in the debug inspector. So as we can see, two objects were read, and they have like the same data, but one of them is monobehavior with all the values here. So there's a bunch of values read from rows, some colors, like for instance, and the same values are available here, and we'll take a look at the exact attributes that were triggering all those reads in a second, but that's the idea. So there's the property-based data and also field-based data here. So they have identical data, but this one comes as a bunch of fields in monobehavior, and this one is a regular object with properties, and in this case they feature reading from single row into either array or list of values, and also special case of reading into a single value, in which case it takes the first value from this row. Same with columns, so you can get a list of all names, or you can get the array of all names, or you can get only the first name from here. So then it features also blocks read into arrays, lists, and single value, and so on. Then what it has in addition are these enumerations that are parsed. So as you can see, these are regular enumeration and flags. And for flags, you can either use a pipe to separate them or a comma. And these are regular enumeration values. And then for colors, you can use either names or hex values or RGB values. Let's see what else it features. It has a highlight that names matching is not very sensitive to case and white space, unless you actually rely on it, in which case it will first check for the column or row names with exact names. If that's not found, it will try case insensitive, and then even if that is not found, it will try with white space ignored, so that you can rely on rather flexible naming, so you can ignore these spaces in your column names, but if you have differences, they will be respected. So that's the quick overview of how the data is mapped to this kind of table. And finally, let's see, there's also a cell attribute that you can use to address the value from a grid-like data when you have two keys, and you can address them exactly as like cell on the crossing of row and column. Finally, let's see what's there else. Yeah, I think that's it. Basically, this example is focusing on the runtime reading, and that is happening through this explicit read calls from the readers that you create in the runtime. You can still use edit time functionality to read those values, not the arbitrary objects, but mono behaviors. So you can also paste this here, even though it's in scene. But in this case, you will still need to specify the credentials here. So let's quickly do that to highlight that as an option. So again, I'm using the credential that is included in the example, but in your project with your real spreadsheets, you will probably have your own that you will create on Google Cloud Management Panel. So that's configured, and now I can read that in edit time, and it will be permanently added to the scene. If you save it, it will remain there, and the same in prefab. So I can have it here, press read, and it will be read into a prefab, similarly to how it was read to scriptable objects in the other video. So that's the stuff you can combine: edit time and runtime updates. Also, you can use runtime updates in your test builds to have a quick turnaround with test data, but then disable them in actual builds. It's up to you. And yeah, basically that's it.